But that is gorgeous. I never thought I'd use the word gorgeous to describe mayonnaise, but this really is. This is hands down the easiest method for making mayonnaise in less than a minute. But I have to warn you that once you try homemade mayonnaise, you'll never want to go back to store-bought. And I have a really funny story to share with you how choosing mayonnaise brought more maritable bliss to my newlywed years. But I'll save that for the end. To make this mayonnaise, you'll want to use an immersion blender or stick blender, and you'll want to use the beaker that comes with your blender because the head of the blender is already sized to just barely fit down inside your beaker. And this is really important for your mayonnaise to come together in such a quick time. We're going to start with 1 egg, and it needs to be room temperature. Now, I rarely think far enough ahead to set my egg out for it to warm up in time, so you can just put it into a bowl of like some real hot tap water for about 5 minutes, and that will quickly bring it to room temperature. So we'll start by adding 1 egg to our beaker. Next, we're going to add lemon juice. So you can either squeeze it fresh, or you can use the kind that comes out of a bottle that you store in your fridge. So I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and you could also substitute this for lime juice. Next, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of white wine vinegar. Vinegar adds flavor, but it also acts as a preservative so that your mayo will last longer in the fridge. And to add flavor, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of mustard powder. You can also use Dijon mustard out of a jar. Next, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. This is optional, but one of my favorite flavors to add. Now we're going to add our oil. And one of the best parts about making homemade mayonnaise is that you can choose what oil you use. I've used canola oil, and that works well. We've also used safflower oil, and we like that flavor. But by far, our favorite is using extra light virgin olive oil. We like the flavor as well as the health benefits. And you'll want to gently pour your oil into the beaker, because you do not want to upset the egg mixture at the bottom too much, because you want all of your oil to stay on top of the egg mixture. And I'm adding 1 1/4 cup of oil. Okay, now that our oil is in and all the contents have settled, we're going to get our stick blender ready. And we're going to gently lower our blender down into the mixture, and I'll go ahead and turn it on to the highest speed. Once this starts turning, keep your eye down here in the beaker, and you're going to see the mixture start to turn kind of a milky white color. And that's when we know that the egg is emulsifying and it's magically creating mayonnaise. So here we go. Once you see the mixture starting to turn white at the bottom of your beaker, you'll want to start gently raising your immersion blender up and down until all of the oil is incorporated. So in about 30 seconds, we now have this delicious, thick mayonnaise that's made from a delicious oil and the flavors that we like best. That is so cool. And that tastes amazing. Has so much flavor, and you can taste the lemon citrus, you get a little bit of the vinegar, and it has just the right amount of salt that tastes great in like a sandwich or in a salad. I like to store my mayonnaise in these pint-sized mason jars. Hopefully I get more in the jar than outside the jar. And once we put this into the refrigerator, it will continue to thicken up just a little bit. But that is gorgeous. I never thought I'd use the word gorgeous to describe mayonnaise, but this really is. And I made this just in time for lunch because I am craving a tuna sandwich. I use these mason jars all the time, and I buy these really great little white metal lids that have a little rubber lining inside to be able to make them airtight. So this will go into my fridge and will probably be gone in less than a week. Okay, so now for the story I promised. My husband and I had only been married for a few months, and we went to the grocery store. We walked to the mayonnaise aisle, and we both stood in front of the display of all the different varieties and brands. Well, he went to reach for the Miracle Whip and I went to reach for the real mayonnaise. So in that moment, as I saw we were picking different mayonnaises, I had to ask myself, is this really a battle I want to fight, or should I just compromise and give in and use the Miracle Whip? So I gave in and just went with the Miracle Whip, which I did like it, so it wasn't a big deal. But then a few months later, it was time to get some more mayonnaise, and I was at the store, once again, standing in front of the display of the different brands and varieties of mayonnaise. And all of a sudden, a light bulb went off, and I had like an aha moment. I said, what if I get a bottle of real mayonnaise and a bottle of Miracle Whip? There's enough room in our fridge for both of them to sit side by side. Now, this might sound simple, but in the moment, again, mind blown. And what I realized is that in marriage, there's certainly compromises that need to happen, but sometimes you can both enjoy what you both like best simultaneously right next to each other. So that's my mayonnaise story, and we've been married for 26 years now, but since making my homemade mayonnaise, we just have one jar of mayonnaise in the fridge.